Hey dude, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can run a stupidly simple one-person business that will make you $7,000, £7,000 or euros per month in 2025. And I know this stuff works because I've used this to make $50,000 per month in my one-man business, minus Naomi, and I'll talk about Naomi in a second, for the last 4 months since starting it. So this business has been going for 4 months and it's already making me $50,000 per month. And that's pretty much all profits. And these businesses are optimized for fun, freedom, and huge profits. I've run a bigger business than this in the past. In 2023, I ran a more agency model. I had several team members. I had up to, I think, 8 staff at one point. And the problem with those businesses is that they are stressful. You know, you've got payroll, you're managing team members, you're putting out fires. And, you know, if you're in the game of building a huge business with massive top line numbers, but lower profit margins and the constant stress, then more power to you. But for me, this model is infinitely better because it's really enjoyable for me. I'm working closely with my clients and I'm making a huge amount of cash in the process of doing so. But also, so are my clients. Take Ben, for example. He made an extra £30,000 for his business in 3 months since starting to work with me. Or Mark, who made an extra 17K for his business in just 2 months since working with me. So this stuff really works. It's not just me making this money, it's my clients as well. So in this video, I'm going to show you a simple 3-step process to make money online with coaching. And I'm going to explain the 3 steps now, and then we're going to go into each individual step in much more detail. So the first thing that we're going to look at is your packaged knowledge and skills. So building an online product, a service that helps people with skills and knowledge that you already have. The second thing that we're going to look at is getting eyeballs and creating goodwill. So how do you produce content that drives traffic to your brand, to your business, creates reciprocity within people and makes them want to work with you? And then thirdly and finally, we're going to look at how you actually turn that attention into making money, getting results with your clients and showcasing those results so that you create this incredible sales process that repeats itself and gets you more clients over time. Now, let's dive into each area in detail and show you exactly how you can do this for yourself. So the first thing that we're going to look at is your packaged knowledge and skills. And I want to break this down into some points that I really think are important to understand and some things that I think are massively misunderstood when it comes to this stuff. So when you start a coaching business, an online coaching business, there's this misconception that you need to be unbelievably smart to make lots of money. Okay, you need to be like a brain surgeon before you can make 30, 40, 50,000 or even $7,000 per month. And that couldn't be further from the truth. 90% of my clients are fitness coaches. And at most they have, well, not at most, some of them have higher qualifications than just a level 3 personal training qualification, but most of them have the basic entry-level qualifications required to be a personal trainer, okay? So they understand exercise and nutrition, they know how to help people lose weight, and some of these guys are making £30,000, £40,000 per month, okay? You don't need to be a brain surgeon to make huge amounts of money online. You only need to be a few steps ahead of who you're looking to help, okay? So I like to use this analogy of like a world-class sports coach, right? Now, if you are looking for help from someone and you're just getting started out in your journey, let's say you want to lose weight, you want to lose 15 pounds of body fat in time for the summer holidays, right? You don't go starting online to look for the top sports coach for UFC fighters. You don't start looking for the top nutritionist who works on Harley Street with all of the celebrities. No, you just look for somebody who's a couple of steps ahead of you, who knows what they're doing, who can help people and who has a proven track record, right? So you only need to be a few steps ahead of the people that you are looking to help. You don't need to be the go-to expert in your niche or in your area of expertise for you to make significant amount of money online. So that's something that I really wanted to dispel. Now, bonus points, if it's what you love, but the point I'm trying to make here is that these businesses don't have to be about passions. I think this is a massive misconception. People think that you have to be unbelievably passionate about what you're coaching people through for it to be successful. And it just isn't the case, right? These businesses are cash flow businesses. They're fun in that they provide a lot of freedom. There's huge profit margins, and you get to work with people on a daily basis, which is awesome. The topic that you're teaching people through doesn't have to be your biggest life passion, okay? So remove that idea from your head. Anyone who says to you, if you don't love it, it won't work, it's nonsense, okay? Like, the reality is that people get into business because they want a business that facilitates and feeds their lifestyle. You know, it pays them the money they want to make and gives them the freedom to work from where they want, when they want, okay? That's why people get into business in the first place. Create a service that helps people who are stuck in the position that you were in before you found the solution to succeed. So, you know, if you think about where you can help people, so let's stay on the theme of a fitness coach or a weight loss coach. There's a good chance that you got into the fitness industry because you enjoy training yourself, okay? Or you lost loads of weight yourself, you got in shape yourself. And so you thought, oh, actually, I want to become a personal trainer or an online fitness coach. All you need to do is help people who are where you were 5 years ago or 10 years ago, okay? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just help people who are stuck in the position that you were in. And actually, this is better for your marketing because you can clearly demonstrate and prove that you've been through the action steps to achieve the outcome that people are looking for, okay? Do market research. Find the mean average pricing, length of package, and deliverables, and build your offer accordingly, okay? So don't just like try again to reinvent the wheel, throw shit at a wall and see what sticks. Actually go out and do market research of what is available, what are people charging, typically how long do they work with their clients for, what are they delivering to their clients, and then downstream from that, you can create an online offering that is suitable in the marketplace and people will happily pay for that service. And then the final point that I would make here, just as a bit of a pro tip, is stay away from low ticket pricing models to avoid stress, headaches, and difficult clients, as well as poor client results. Now, there's this false illusion that when you have a lower price point, that you are in some way doing a better service to your clients, okay? You're making yourself, quote unquote, more accessible to them. But you actually end up hampering your clients' results. When people don't have skin in the game, when they aren't financially invested into a process the way that they should be, then what typically happens is they don't follow the plan. They don't show up as a good client. They don't do what they're told to do. They slip, they fall off track. And then because of that and downstream from those things, they don't get the result they came for. They actually view you as somebody who hasn't been able to help them. And that's all because you didn't have the right pricing strategy in the first place, and they didn't have the financial skin in the game required to actually go and do what they were supposed to do. So avoid low ticket pricing models. It always leads to more stress than it's worth, and just charge high ticket pricing and get amazing results with your clients. So point number 2, let's look at getting eyeballs and creating goodwill. I want to start with this sentiment here. I actually learned this, or I heard this from William Brown. It's absolutely incredible. And he said, content that gets views doesn't get clients. So we can think of this as growth content, sorry. And then content that gets clients doesn't get views. And this is conversion content. So when you're making marketing for your social media platforms, if you just chase views and engagement, you will not get clients, okay? The type of content that gets lots of reach and views and engagement isn't going to get people booking in sales calls with you, okay? That is really important to understand, because a lot of coaches, when they get into this game and they start marketing themselves, is they chase the wrong metrics. They think that their success is tied up in how many views their Instagram reel gets or their YouTube video gets. And if you start doubling down on the wrong things, your business isn't going to grow. Your views and engagement might grow, but your business top line and bottom line numbers are not going to grow. So it's really key from the offset that you understand that content that gets views often doesn't get clients, and vice versa, okay? So the second thing that we're going to look at as it relates to getting eyeballs and creating goodwill is this argument around paid versus organic. Now, just a really quick point here. With paid advertising, your reach is guaranteed. But with organic advertising, your reach is often slower, but it creates more trust. And the reason that it creates more trust is if you put your marketing in front of people when they haven't chosen to see it, okay, you've paid Meta, you've paid Instagram or Facebook to get your piece of content in front of somebody, it almost feels like you are disrupting their feed, okay, on the consumer end. They haven't followed you. They haven't decided to look at your stuff. You are just forcing it in front of them. And it actually becomes a bit of an annoyance for a lot of people. Not everyone, but for a lot of people, it becomes an annoyance. So if you can take the time building a really solid organic foundation first, and then throw coal on the fire with paid advertising, I often find that that's the best approach. If you just go out the gates, all guns blazing, paid advertising straight out the gate, when you haven't built a foundation of organic trust in the marketplace, you usually just get a little bit of a bad reputation. So I would avoid doing that if you can. So you can make IG Reels, you can make LinkedIn posts, you can make Facebook posts, but ideally you just want to make content where your clients hang out. So you got to really think about, and this is where doing your market research is such a good idea, because if you can go and look at your competitors and see where are they putting their content out, where are they doing the majority of their marketing, you'll start to understand where your potential clients and customers are spending time on social media. You know, if you work in B2B services, let's say you're working with small business owners or medium business owners, they're going to be spending a lot of time on LinkedIn. So you might be making the majority of your growth content on LinkedIn. If you're working with men and women over the age of 45 to 65, then Facebook might be a good place to spend time making your marketing, right? If you're working with 20 to 35-year-olds, then Instagram might be a great place to make your marketing. But it's all downstream from understanding your market, understanding your potential clients, and where they're going to be spending the majority of their time consuming content. Now, this is something really key to growing one of these coaching businesses is collect email addresses in exchange for resources relevant to the results that you deliver. Okay, so I use ManyChat for this. I'll create resources that I know are going to be valuable for my ideal clients. And I'll basically say, look, if you want this thing, comment the keyword on this post and I will send it to you. And that ManyChat sequence will collect email addresses for me so that I can start funneling my most engaged audience members deeper into my ecosystem. Create long videos or podcasts just like this. Now, this is the nurture channel, right? You guys watching this long video are going to be able to take much more value from what I'm saying in a 15, 20, 25-minute video than from what I can say in a 30 to 60-second Instagram reel. So it's really important that you create long-form content as a coach, because that is where you are nurturing your leads. That is where you're building trust with your leads, okay? And this is where you're ultimately going to separate yourself from your competitors. I've just made this point here. Give value in public and sell in private. So use closed chat channels, calls, emails, etc. when you're doing your selling. So a big mistake that coaches make is they make these sales posts, these direct call to action posts on their social media platforms every single week. Like, you know, DM me the word coach if you want to work with me. I've got 5 spaces to do X, Y, Z in the next 90 days. And those posts, you're working against your ability to create goodwill in your audience, okay? You want to give as much as you possibly can in terms of value and social proof on your social media platforms. And you want to do all of your selling in private channels, okay? So you can do a little bit here and there on your stories because it's kind of here today and gone tomorrow. But for the most part, you want to keep it to email inboxes. You want to keep it to DM channels. You don't want to be doing lots of selling in a public forum, okay? Because it just hampers your reach on social media and it makes people feel a little bit icky, okay? So try and limit the amount of sales posts that you do. Use validated ideas, okay? Don't try to reinvent the wheel. I've used that expression quite a few times today, but it's really true. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Put your own twist on validated ideas. So, you know, when you're making content for your coaching business, go out to the market, find content that is already performing well using platforms like vidIQ for YouTube or like Viral Finder for Instagram. Research your competitors, what content is performing well, Why did this piece of content perform well, do I feel? Was it the hook? Was it the way that they pattern interrupted? Was it the topic? And then recreate that content in your own unique way, okay? Don't copy it. The worst thing that you can do is carbon copy people's content, right? You're going to get a really bad reputation very quickly. But take the foundational ideas and concepts and then put your own twist on them. And that is the best way for you to grow nice and quickly. And then finally, track what's working in your marketing and double down on it. Don't, once you find something that's winning, whether you're great at doing carousel posts that get you loads of reach and engagement and book sales calls, or you find that every time that you put out a podcast video, it gets you 2, 3, 4 book sales calls. Once you find what is working for your coaching business, just put all of your focus and attention into that area, okay? Don't try and spread yourself too thin and experiment with different ideas. Find what works and double down on it. That is really, really key. So thirdly and finally in this 3-step framework for making money with online coaching is making money, getting results, and showcasing them, okay? So you want to use your attention channel. So for me, my attention channel is Instagram. Yours could be LinkedIn, it could be Facebook, could be TikTok. But you want to use your attention channel to push leads into your mailing list. Okay, I already mentioned this, using something like ManyChat, saying, here, look, I've got this free resource. If you want it, comment this word, send me your email address, and I'll send it to you, okay? So we're taking your most engaged audience members from your attention channel and pushing them into your email list. And then in your email list, you're going to make weekly offers in private, okay? So I might send out an email today that basically says, look, if you're an online coach and you want to start earning 20K a month or more, then just reply to this email with the word interested and I'll get you all the details, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and as my email list grows and as the subscribers on my email list become more and more receptive to my message, they understand that I'm great at getting client results. They've watched some of my long form content. They're taking value from what I'm teaching them. More and more people are going to start replying to those emails and saying, I'm interested, Ollie, how can I work with you? And then we get them sold into the program, okay? The description of your long form content drives traffic into book a call with you or to DM you. So me personally, if you look at the description of this video, you'll see that my direct call to action is to DM me on Instagram, and then I've linked my Instagram there. So people can click on that and they can DM me my keyword, and that's how they apply to work with me. For me personally, I don't sell on sales calls. Okay, I decided to stop doing sales calls last year. So I do all of my selling in the DMs. I have a conversation with people. I make sure I can help them. I ask them a few questions. And then if I feel like we're a fit to work together, I'll send them all of the details in an offer document. But I've put here, if you are, and this is just my personal opinion, if you are under 250K per year in your coaching business, then take sales calls. And the reason for that is that you're going to build the skill. Sales is a skill that will serve you for a lifetime. And you shouldn't try to skip past steps in your online business journey, right? You should build the skill of sales. It is an invaluable skill and it will serve you in so many areas of life. Once you start getting to sort of $250,000 a year and beyond, and you think, actually, I want to be a little bit more ruthless with my time. I want to be a little bit more focused with my time, and I don't want to do sales calls all day and all week. You can then start to use other strategies like selling in the DMs with offer documents, etc. And then, of course, as I said here, if you want to keep lean and you don't want to hire salespeople like closers and setters and all that kind of stuff, then you can just sell in the DMs with a document like I do. Okay, but like I say, I recommend only doing that after 250K a year plus. And then this is the most important part of this process now. Deliver the results that you promised to your clients. Get them amazing results. Okay, you need to move hell and earth to make sure that the clients that you work with come away from your process with incredible results as you promised in your marketing and as you promised in your sales process. And then all you simply do is you ask those clients for a testimonial at the end of their experience, you record it and you share it. And once you do this, that content then goes back out into your ecosystem. You nurture your leads more and more because you're now showing them that actually you do what you say you can do, and you're going to get more attention, more book sales calls, and more clients. Okay, so it becomes this lovely self-fulfilling prophecy over time by getting clients results recording the testimonial and sharing it. Okay, it is that simple. That is the 3-step framework to making 7K a month with a one-man business in 2025. No team required, no stress, no headaches, optimized for fun, freedom, and fat profits. I mentioned Naomi at the start there, just to be completely clear. I have one team member, it's Naomi. I'll say this in the nicest possible way. I don't need Naomi. I could easily run this 50K a month plus coaching business just by myself. But I have Naomi to do some of the tasks in the business that I just really don't enjoy. Okay, so she's not a need to have, she's a nice to have. She's absolutely incredible. But the point I'm trying to make is that these businesses can just be a one-man band. Okay, you can do this all by yourself. And then apart from the tech stack that you need to deliver your coaching, your sales process, and all that kind of thing, all of the money that goes into your coaching account, your business account, is yours. Once you paid your tax, it's all your money. Huge profit margins, okay? So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to watch more, I'll leave some up here for you to check out, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.